Hey, viewers, George here to talk about the wonderful 101, or however they prefer to be pronounced. Anyways, point being, this is one of the Wii U games that a lot of people were looking really forward to because it was one of the ones that were announced really early on when the Wii U was coming out. So, finally comes out. It's from Platinum Games. If you don't know who they are, they've done a lot of really cool stuff. Bayonetta, Mad World, I think, was one of their things. You know, they do really crazy, awesome games. So, this one comes along, everyone's really excited because it looks really cool, and it pays off really well. The wait was well worth it, for sure. Okay, so, right off the bat, it looks like it's a bit of a Pikmin-esque thing, and to some degree it is. I mean, you go along, you have to, you have a bunch of these people who follow you. You can have up to, I think, 100 or 99. 199, whatever. And you collect them along the way, but they're just ordinary citizens that you sort of, like, quickly recruit for, like, the, you need them sort of thing. At least that's what I gathered from it. Some of it's a little unclear. And I think that's one of the problems with it, which I'll get into in a sec. Okay, so story. Evil force is invading Earth, and it is your job to, beat them. And that's basically it. And you're part of this organization created by the United Nations called the Sentinel, or the Wonderful 100. And they're just superheroes, essentially. Like, they're really classic anime style superheroes, like in sort of like the same vein as for some reason the first one comes to mind is like Sailor Moon, but I think more like Gotcha Man, or anything that's like a lot like Gotcha Man, if you know what that is. Or Power Rangers, I think, would be an easy one. I don't know why you didn't come up with that one. But it's sort of in that kind of vein of superheroes, and it has that very, like, cheesiness to it, too. And they even make fun of it, like, when there's freeze frames or something like that. They're still, like, they're trying to hold the freeze frame, and it's hilarious. Just to see that. So there's a lot of humor to it within the game. Like, the fact that a lot of the things that the organization refers, codenames everything, like alcoholic drinks or something like that. For some reason, like, the force field's called Margarita. Or, it's just a silly little game, and I love that. It has a really great, presentation to it. It looks really nice. I don't really like talking about graphics and, visuals unless I have to, but this just really shows off how awesome the visuals can be in a Wii U game, because it just looks so colorful. It's just, it's really nice to look at. But with all that said, a couple of problems. It tells you, like, really later on, like the second mission you do, essentially, how to control the cameras, which sucks, because it should have told you that really early on. And actually, even early on, you can't even fiddle with the cameras in the first mission, because I don't know why, but it doesn't tell you that. And if I had just played the first level and then did the first impression, I probably wouldn't like it as much, because the camera is set really far away, but it's until, like, the second mission you play when you can control the camera to zoom it in and zoom it out. Which they should have done that to begin with, because you need to know how to control that goddamn camera. Because when it's far away, it's sometimes way too fucking far away. And then sometimes when it's too close, it's too fucking close. Great examples, first time when you go inside, like, there'll be rare parts where you go inside a building, and you have to look at the Wii U gamepad. I'm going to use this as a Wii U gamepad. So you're holding your Wii U gamepad as you would. And, like, you can move around like that. But the camera angle is so fucking close into your face. It's just like, Jesus. And you can't even control it inside either, which is really dumb. But those are very far and few in between. The game is fairly difficult on its normal setting. I was a little worried because the 3 difficulty settings you get at the beginning is very easy, easy, and normal. And I'm assuming you get hard and very hard when you unlock them after beating the game. So I was a little worried that the game might be a little bit too easy. You'll die a couple of times. But it's forgiving in the sense that it just puts you right back where you were. And, you continue along your merry way kicking some ass. But if you want to get better scores, of course, you don't want to die as much. Because that penalizes your overall score at the end of the thing. Sorry. That's a very minor thing, of course. Levels take a while. I was really shocked. The levels do take a little bit of time to blast through. Like, the first one took me no time at all to get through it. But then the first official mission that you play took... God, how long did that mission take me? I think it might have took me like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It just sort of kept going. With that even said, though, I was having fun doing it. It was just a lot of fun to just play through this game. I can't stress that enough either. Is that this game is very fun. It is very enjoyable to play. Right off the bat, I'm highly recommending. If you have a Wii U, this is like a big title to grab. Because it is a lot of fun. Though, I must say, one of the big things about it is, I haven't talked about the mechanics, I should probably talk about it. One of the big things is you get to, unlike in Pikmin, where you don't really utilize the group together, it's more like a separate thing, if that makes any goddamn sense. In this one, you sort of have to use the group to create morph things. So like a giant fist or sword or something like that, or ladders or chains and things like that. That's one of the big things. And how you do that is you use the right analog stick to create various shapes and things. Which is fine. I don't know why they don't just have you draw on the tablet, because that wouldn't make sense now, would it? But regardless, one of the big problems is it doesn't really tell you exactly what kind of shape it wants, and it was a little tricky to get around the idea of trying to do it for some reason, because it didn't really want to work. But and then on top of it, it's weird just how it fucking works, because it's like, you want to create a ladder. Okay, so there's buildings that are too tall for you to double jump onto, so you obviously want to create a ladder to get on top. So you go to create a ladder, and sometimes it works where it has to work. Other places where it doesn't want to work, it doesn't work. And it's just like, make up your goddamn mind. If I want to do this, I should be able to do this. Right? It's another weird thing that was bugging me through the entirety of the game while I was playing it, is in order to grab the citizens and make them part of your 100 team, you have to sort of use your existing team to sort of round them up, essentially, or something like that. It's another thing that's not really clear on how that works, which is a common thing in this game, is it's not entirely clear. It gives you instructions, but it's not entirely clear. Like, there's this one instance. There is a barrage of air raids coming down, and you have to pass through them. Only way you can do it is by getting this giant football helmet that had fallen off a building and using it as a shield. So, you go up to it. The game doesn't tell you how the fuck that works, and you have to figure it out. It took me a little bit of time, but you have to basically create a circle of people to carry it. Sort of like a Pikmin thing. But the game never told you how to do that. It's just like, if you're gonna... It tells you everything, very vaguely, might add. So why doesn't it vaguely tell me how to do that? It's terrible. But at the same time, I thoroughly enjoyed playing this game. It's such a mixed bag thing. Like, there are things in it where I really, really should criticize it heavily for it. and probably should hinder my experience of enjoying this game. But overall, playing it was a lot of fun. Like, I had fun playing it, and it just felt very refreshing in that sense of, like, enjoyment, and definitely the presentation really fucking helps with it. It's you can play it on the TV or the gamepad. If that's a thing that you really need to know about, because it's there. Voice acting's great because it really matches the overacting style of it, sort of like the campiness and stuff you would see in various shows that are like that, like the Gotcha Force or Power Rangers or Sailor Moon, because once again it's that sort of thing. Controls work beyond those little complaints I had, but those might be more mechanic than controls. Oh, other thing that they don't tell you about, but if you'll probably figure it out. Might as well just drop it right now, so that way you know about it. Each hero, because there's main heroes, and they each have their own little special things. So, like, there's the fist, or there's the sword. Those kind of special things, like their main melee attack. Depending on the shape you make, switches the heroes between who's leading the group. And it's just like, yeah, there'll be points where you're like, how do I switch back to the other guy, right? Easy way, of course, is just you can create their own little thing, their special attack, so you can create the fist or the sword. Other ways, what I was commonly trying to use, is on the gamepad you can actually just do it, but it doesn't tell you that, of course. I dropped the game frame, whatever it's called, case. So, one of the biggest things about this game that I hate is it's just very vague on its instructions, or it just doesn't tell you at all. That's a huge hinder to it. Greatly. I mean, if I were to probably rate it just from that, from what I was playing right there, those 2 missions that I did, I would probably give it like maybe an 8, maybe a 7.5 at the very least. Because the fact that it goes to give you instructions, but it does it in such a vague way that you have to sort of basically figure it out from those vague instructions, really, really hinders the game. And then sometimes it doesn't even bother telling you anything. Or sometimes it just tells you things later, or lets you use things that you should have been able to use to begin with later. But nevertheless, it's a lot of fun to play. Woo! That's like the main thing about it. I'll happily forgive a game if I have fun playing it, because to me that's a huge thing about games. Is if the gameplay is fun, regardless of a lot of the flaws it has, I'll let it slide a lot, because that's the fun of games, is you should be having fun with them. But it is worth. I obviously have to mention the bad stuff, and that's a lot. And those are the bad things: vague instructions to nothing, and not being able to use your camera in the very, very first mission, which is dumb. And whatever else I said that I might have just forgot. With that said and done, I can't think of anything else I need to say about this game. Apparently it's 4 players. That's a thing. It is difficult. It will give you a bit of a challenge, especially if you want to get the better score. So that's always nice too. I always like the little challenge, because I don't know what it is with games lately. They feel like they're being a little softer, or maybe I'm just getting better. Who knows? But stuff aside, game's fun. It offers challenges. It has its flaws, of course, but the game does have a lot of charm to it, and it's a lot of fun, which covers the flaws a little bit. Makes it a lot more bearable, if that's anything. And with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming. And remember, it's fun!